Good afternoon. My name is Barret Armann, President of Unifor Local 7378. Joining me today are Vice President Derek Butcher, and together we're representing our airline pilots with the help of Honorable Michelle Rempel Garner. She has been a vocal advocate for our industry. We come today to ask the government of Canada why they have not implemented rapid testing to reduce the blanket 14-day quarantine at international airports across this country, as other countries have done, such as Germany and the UK. IATA, EASA, and others have advocated for rapid testing as a science-based solution, increasing safety in place of a blanket 14-day quarantine. Rapid testing has proven effective in other countries and shows real promise for helping our industry getting back to work, saving critical infrastructure and Canadian jobs. It allows continuing international trade and businesses to flourish. It means more testing, more knowledge, and more safety for Canadians. This pandemic is not yet over, and every day we fail to look at new solutions and increased testing is another day our industry faces massive increased job losses. In March, our industry went above and beyond. We answered the call to bring Canadians home. Now our government has decreased the Canadian emergency wage subsidy for furloughed employees. Members are unable to support themselves. The government has failed workers in our sector, and they have failed Canadians by not implementing rapid testing to increase safety for those Canadians returning from abroad, and therefore all Canadians. Pilots have always been about safety. Rapid testing is safety for Canadians and their families. Every day I hear from our members and other pilots across the country. Rico from Vancouver, who is married to one of our flight attendants, is trying to support their 3 children. I spoke with him yesterday. He's currently working 3 jobs to try and make his mortgage payments, put food on the table for his children, and try to support his family. The decrease in queues affects them. He is a furloughed employee, as are many Canadians. In a pandemic, why does Rico have to work 3 jobs? Why is the government not using science to increase safety and help support the industry, Rico's family, and all Canadians? We need the government to act for all Canadians. Rapid testing is education. Rapid testing is safety. What is the delay? Thank you.
Thank you. I'm proud to stand here on the stage and support the call that was just issued because it's common sense. There are so many reasons why Canada should be aggressively pursuing rapid testing at Canadian airports, and I just want to walk through some of the reasons. First of all, we know that nearly 4 million Canadians at last count have entered the country and are exempt from quarantine requirements. Wouldn't it be better if we just had a way to test everybody when they came into Canada? Certainly, I've heard from folks across our country who are separated from family members and who perhaps need to travel or travel for urgent needs for business, but they can't because when they come home, they're looking at 2 weeks of quarantine. Now, everybody wants to be compliant with those requirements, but if there's a better way, we should be looking at it, especially 11 months into this pandemic. And we know there's a better way, and that's the implementation of rapid testing at Canadian airports as a way to augment safety measures that are already in place. We know, as was mentioned, other countries around the world have successfully done this, and I'm certainly very proud to be an Alberta MP and see the pilot project at the Calgary International Airport. Measures like this could have a radical and positive transformation on people who need the support, but also have better public health outcomes. I think it's very important, and I'm very pleased that Unifor is here today to put a human face on the workers that have been impacted by a lack of government forward thinking in this regard. Having talked to pilots unions, many other people in the tourism and hospitality industry who are affected by this, the stories are heartbreaking. The story of Rico is one of thousands. I know that there are pilots who want to be doing their job but can't. I've heard pilots phoning me and be like, "I'm barely scraping by with driving an Uber," and there's really no reason for it at this point in time. Some of the measures that the government should be undertaking that we've been pushing for months now are ensuring, and we're trying to attract rapid testing manufacturers into the review process in Canada, because if we know if we have more suppliers, we have more supply and we can have the capacity to do this. I am worried about the Christmas season for people who have to travel, that they are faced with a quarantine that may or may not be complied with. And instead, we should be looking at, as just in terms of that just being the only measure, we should be looking at rapid testing as a way to augment the health and safety of all Canadians. Um, this is a no-brainer. This is something that this pilots union, Sunwing Pilot Union, has been pushing for a long period of time. And again, there's best practice around the world. Why aren't we doing this? I'll close with this. We are going to be in this situation for some months. That's very clear. The government, we don't know when most Canadians will have access to a vaccine. That's definitely months and months into the horizon, perhaps even a year. We don't know for sure. This industry and Canadians need certainty that could be provided by this common sense measure, which has already been deployed successfully with positive outcomes around the world. So today, again, just to reiterate, I am pleased to stand here and echo the calls to implement rapid testing at Canadian airports. Thank you.
We will now go to questions, starting with questions on the phone. Quick reminder, one question, one follow-up per reporters. Nous allons maintenant passer aux questions, commençant par les questions au téléphone. Un petit rappel, une question suivie par journaliste. Operator, do we have a first question?
Thank you. So please press star one if you have a question. Appuyez sur étoile 1 pour poser une question. Our first question is from Ryan Tumulty from the National Post. Please go ahead, à vous la parole.
Yeah, I'm wondering, I understand the urgency that you're laying out here, but given that at the moment these tests are limited in Canada, what's the argument, I guess, for putting them here as opposed to putting them in long-term care facilities or hospitals or a wide range of other facilities where they could do a lot of good?
I want to be very clear. I don't see this as an either or dichotomy. I don't see this as a choice between one or the other. There's a reason why our party has been pushing the government on where they're at in the review process for rapid tests. It's because we need rapid tests at long-term care facilities, in schools, in meat packing plants, and at Canadian airports. And again, this is why in my remarks I was saying that, the government needs to have a strategy on rapid testing concurrently with looking at a vaccine rollout, because we know it's going to be a long period of time before every Canadian is vaccinated. So, I guess I would answer your question, Ryan, by just saying we need rapid tests for all of these things. I've seen the government, in the last couple of months really sort of poo-poo rapid testing writ large. So instead of doing that, what we need is them to explain how we can have a viable supply, many different suppliers, for us to be able to meet these needs. I mean, rapid tests at airports are just one critical area that the government has not been able to service. There should be standards and guidelines on where rapid tests can be used to augment public health and safety outcomes, and we don't have that. So today, again, this is one area that I think, and I guess I also don't want to diminish the importance of having rapid testing at airports. Again, I'll reiterate, we know that there have been millions of Canadians who have entered Canada without quarantine requirements. I think, in terms of positive public health outcomes, it would be good to have rapid tests available to anyone entering Canada. But also, very bluntly put, the airline industry in Canada is on life support right now, and no amount of bailout or whatever is going to help that industry unless we have a clear plan that involves some certainty around this particular issue. This is what every airline, every worker group in the sector is asking for. The science is there, the best practice is there internationally, and it's incumbent upon the government to explain why they haven't been able to do this.
Follow-up?
Yeah, I guess just as a follow-up, I'm wondering if either Unifor or anyone else has data that says that if there was rapid testing in place at airports, travelers would flock back to fly again. Given that with the vaccine rollout, it'll win even across countries. I imagine a lot of places that people travel to on holidays will be unvaccinated for years potentially. So I'm wondering, do you think travelers are dying to come back and are just waiting for these rapid tests?
I'll let my colleague speak in just 1 minute here, but I will say that I know, if you talk to the Calgary Airport Authority or airlines flying in and out of Calgary, they have seen increased traffic as a result of the pilot project. I think that given that the pilot project, I think, is only 4 or 5 weeks in, I know that more data will be forthcoming, but perhaps my colleague from the industry would want to speak to that as well.
Yeah, so the information we have, we commissioned a poll through Ecos Research that was shared with the federal government. And it showed 66% of Albertans are prepared to travel in a pandemic with rapid testing, and the rest of Canada between 50 and I think it was 55%. I think that information is available on betterborders.ca. We've posted the findings of that along with some other information.
Operator, next question.
Thank you. We have no further questions registered at this time. Back to you.
Thank you.
There's no question in the room, so this concludes the press conference. Ceci met fin à la conférence de presse. Thank you.
Thank you.